Okay, Shalom Aleichem. As you see, I'm here on Eastern Parkway, Kan Siva Hashem Asabracha, by the Kinnis HaShluchim, and I have the schus to be with Rabbi Yitzchak Mendel Wagner, the Shliach in
Krefeld, Germany.
I can't even pronounce that name.
You can call it Kreplach if you want.
Kreplach, Germany. We spent some time, quality time together. A couple of years ago, he learned with us an online smicha, different halachas. I think it was Hilchas Yomtiv, Hilchas Yuchsin, I think it was. And now he's Baruch Hashem, this Allah to learn expertise in different other halachas. I think he's learned, became a mumch in shatnez. So I said, let's take some time to discuss some of his mumchashaft. And you know, you have Ezo Chacham Aleimed Mikol Adam. Let's discuss Eshton's. Please tell us something interesting of your experiences in your Makom HaShlichus. If you could tell us a minute or two, something about your Makom HaShlichus. And then, you know, shatnez is not a halachas that people know, and people don't even know the chumras of shatnez. How I think you can't even sit on it. You know, maybe you could tell us what people should be the basics, what people should be nizar in it. In my times when we were growing up, there used to be a shatnez laboratory here in Crown Heights. People used to come to the schools. I don't know if they still do that. So I will let the chashiv v'oirach, the chashiv v'shliach, to do the talking. Without further ado, Rabbi Yitzchak Mendel, Shalom Aleichem, and
Aleichem Shalom. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. I'm the community rabbi of the Jewish community in Krefeld, Germany, which is a small city more or less. It has 250,000 people living over there. I always say it's bigger than Haifa.
How many Yidden?
We have 1,000 Jews about, and it's near the border to the Netherlands. It's not far away from. It's an hour and a half away from Antwerp in Belgium, which is like the last shtetl in Europe. They call it. It looks like a little bit like Williamsburg, and basically that's what we're doing. We just finished building a mikveh. Also with the help of Crown Heights, the architect from Crown Heights, Dying Cats from Borough Park helped us with the Shliach from Cologne, Rabbi Strokes together. Wow. Just finished it a year ago. We run a little restaurant over there. Kashrut is not so easy in Germany as it's here in America. And basically that's what we're doing.
Very nice.
So I became involved with shatnez about a year ago, because I understood that it's one of the mitzvahs where many people stumble over, not just the Freie people, but also the religious people. Sometimes when I speak to from Jews about the mitzvah of shatnez, I have the same feeling if I speak to the Russian Jews about putting on tefillin. So I get excuses like, don't tell me about it. It's a mitzvah from the Torah. It's a mitzvah d'oraita. It's similar. You come to a from guy and you ask him, you're eating a sandwich. It's kosher. And tell me, don't ask me. If it's kosher. I don't know. You know, nobody will ever do this. So, but it's the same. If you're wearing a jacket, it needs to be checked. So, in general, there are some guidelines which help you to catch most of the shatnez. First of all, shatnez is a prohibition of wool and linen mixed somehow together or being same part in the garment. So even if you have a garment which is like let's say one side would be wool and the other side, even they are not touching, would be linen, it would be still forbidden to wear such a garment. So the rule is like this: if you have to check the following things. You have to check everything which says on the label wool, everything which has on the label linen, everything which says on the label other fibers, OF. Because this is a mixture of everything. Or if you have something recycled fibers, you have to check every jacket and every how is this called in English?
Coat.
Every coat needs to be checked, and everything which has a linen look. If you follow those rules, then normally you're quite good. So don't make the mistake what many from people do. They say one mistake is I check the label, it says 100% wool, or it says 100% cotton, 100% synthetic. I'm fine, there's just synthetic, where should be a problem of shatnez? There's no wool, there's no linen. First of all, you have to understand that the label in the coat or the label in your jacket just tells you what is the outer fabric made of. It doesn't tell you what's going on inside.
Or the lining.
So you have about 50 to 60 places we have to check inside the jacket in order to see if they are not wool and linen. When I started to learn about shatnez, I also thought I buy I buy myself a coat, 100% cotton. 100% cotton, what could be the problem? When I came to Lakewood to learn over there, he said, okay, let's start with your coat. We open it, and a minute later he found wool. A minute later he found linen.
How do you check that?
It's quite easy. If somebody, you take a microscope, and you learn under the microscope everything looks different. So you know how linen looks and you know how wool looks and the other fibers, how they look. If somebody is doing it for many years, he can even with his eye, he can see already if it's linen or if it's wool. I still need a microscope for that.
Okay, so how does a simpleton, a guy who lives, who doesn't have your expertise, how does a guy watching this video, what could you help him differentiate between wool, linen, and...
Nothing. It's very difficult. First rule, if you buy a coat or if you buy a suit, first rule, read the label. If the label tells you already wool and linen, don't go into it. That's pretty obvious. If it says other fibers, don't buy it, because other fibers means that they took everything, a mixture of everything which was lying on the floor in the factory. They put together. It could be linen, wool, everything together.
But you're saying even 100% wool doesn't mean it's
right. So even if it's but then you're already on your chances are better that you don't have shatnez. So you have to bring it to a shatnez laboratory in order to test it. If you don't have one in the place where you're living, check out online. You can send it per mail. People send from all over Germany. They send it to us. Next day we send it back. They won't ruin it. One of the places check online. Google the name, the brand name of the suit, and Google it to see what comes up. For example, if you're wearing Hugo Boss, if you're wearing it right now, take it off, because it's 99% chance of shatnez.
Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss. You see over here, you have this. It's called
collar.
Collar. The collar of Hugo Boss is 99.9% always shatnez. Very expensive suits, very high percentage of shatnez. Coming out of Germany, very high percentage of shatnez. You need to give it to somebody who knows about it. You cannot do it yourself, because you need to know how to open it. You need to know how to see it under the microscope. It's a fascinating but also complicated issue.
Okay, let me ask you. Besides clothing, which other items do we have to be careful of a shot?
I once heard, I'm not sure, in Germany they don't play baseball. I know in America everybody's crazy about baseball.
The mitts.
So this hand,
the gloves, the mitts.
The glove you had, somebody opened it up and you saw it was made of recycled fibers. Inside it's colorful. This is a problem, because you turn it on and you put it on and it could have wool and linen inside.
I once heard that the car seats and the train seats, the ones that they cover with material that might have been shot.
As far as I understood today, that's not the case anymore. It used to be 100 years ago, and the old furniture, they had problems of shatnez. Today, most don't have that many problems of shatnez. This is very complicated. It's too complicated to go into it in a short video. But the halacha is, the problem is that when you sit on something which is very soft, then it could come a little bit over you. That's what it says in the Torah. Shatnez is not allowed to come on top of you. So most of the stuff we have is so stiff, tough that it doesn't come over you. So basic thing you should be concerned about is your clothing, is the tie, for example. Ties made in America. There are a lot of ties. They have shatnez. So you say this is 100% silk. Where should there be any wool, any linen? So what makes it? If I go like this, what makes the tie go back nicely? Because inside there's a fabric. If you open up on this, or if you look into this over here, you could see in the inside. If I would open it, you could see there's a fabric. So that could be that it's a mixture of wool and linen. So we have to check that. This also. So just after this introduction, you understand why the people are running away if I come to talk about shatnez.
It's one of these halachas that the Torah says that shatnez is a chayk, because al pi seichel, you don't understand what is the Torah care if you mix tzemer or pishtan yachtos, right?
That's right.
It's a chayk.
It's a chok. It's interesting. You find it in Siman, the Siman Reich Tzadik Chet, which comes to the word rotzeach, which means murder, because somehow it's connected to the first murder in history. You see that Cain and Hevel, they brought offerings to God. In the beginning of the Torah, one brought flax seeds and the other brought something from the sheep, wool and linen. So there it started. The Zohar, which is very scary, says if you put shatnez on you, even for a second, let's say there's a shatnez, you go like this and you take it off, for 40 days you have a clipper around you and your tefillot are not accepted by God. That's how serious shatnez is.
All right, well, wait a second for the ambulance to go by, but I do want to mention, as you can see, Rabbi Wagner is also an expert speaker. He goes around the world speaking about not only the Inyane Halacha, but his experiences with Jews in Germany. They should help. They should have koyach to turn over the country, Latoiva, and spread Yiddishkeit. Kol Tuv.
Amen.
Koyach
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.